Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 3-0 Take, where we talk all things Major League Baseball. Here's Kyle Corwin and Nate Reyes. It all starts right now.
Welcome back to the 3-0 Take, presented by SeatGeek. This is episode 340. I'll be your host, Kyle Corwin, and I'm here with my co-host, Nate Reyes. Nate.
340. We're getting old. We're rolling.
I was thinking about that today. We are. Does my math serves me correct here? Are we going to hit 400 this season? We'll have. If we're doing 8 episodes, if we average 8 episodes a month, 2 a week, 8 a month. Season's what? 7 months.
Mm-hmm.
That's 56.
It's 28.
No.
What?
It'd be 8 episodes a month times 7.
Oh, I was thinking 4.
months.
So 8, yeah. So 56, yeah.
So we would hit 400
in the postseason.
In the postseason. How about that?
Every time. Every time we get like a milestone, it's always during more
the
important
busiest
things.
time, or like
where no one
event.
cares. No one cares about our milestone. It's like we're in the middle of the NLCS. Like we got to talk about this.
Or it's like the All-Star break and Shohei's hitting 40. I don't know.
Man, I always like every time we read off the number, it's like I think of like baseball numbers. So we're at this like 340 range. So I think of like, I don't know why my brain goes to like, outfield distances, like how far the fence is, or I think of like batting average, and I don't know. I mean, maybe we're going to see somebody hit 340 this year.
I saw some graphic today that said who's the next person that could hit 400 next.
They're not born yet.
I was just like, nobody. The person on the graphic was Freddie Freeman, and I was like,
as good as he is, no,
I'm not buying it. Speaking of big events, though, as we were just talking about with our milestones, we're a week away. Less than a week away.
Dude, you're here so soon.
The next
5 days.
The next time you guys hear from us, we will be out there in Phoenix, Chase Field, WBC.
The weather's ready for you, too. It's getting better.
We got some good stuff planned, man. We're going to hit it. We're already mapping out some spring training games and some sites. We're going to catch some backfield work, going to catch some spring training games, going to catch, obviously, the WBC games, at least Team USA. We may call an audible catch a day game or something. Dude, the whole ticket process...
Fill these people in, man.
A nightmare.
Fill these people in so they don't have to live the way we had to live for the last month and a half.
So we already brought it up. I think it was it last episode we were talking about this, and I was like, I don't know why I'm trying to protect this particular company.
Yeah. Bury them.
Never, ever, ever use StubHub to get tickets. Ever. And I'm not like, that's not an exaggeration. They are the worst. And I'm not just saying that because this podcast is presented by SeatGeek. I would tell you that regardless.
Yeah, you would.
They are the absolute worst. So just a little recap here in case you missed the last update. So I bought the tickets January 19th, I believe. Let me pull it up here because I have it.
A hot minute ago.
I bought the tickets January 19th. I received the wrong tickets. So naturally, I'm like, oh, okay, it must just be like an error in the system. Let me reach out. I reached back out to StubHub. I was like, yo.
Hold on. Clarify. Elaborate even more, because we purchased the night game slate, which is
Correct.
All Team USA games. So it's
Correct.
Every night. It's 5 games, right? They give us one Sunday afternoon game. That's what the tickets were.
It was like Colombia and Mexico. And I'm like, okay, you
Great.
tried.
We got 5 games. You give us one, and it's not even the right one.
It's not even the same time of day. Like, try again. Like, D minus for effort.
Receipt says the exact thing we purchased. Like,
yeah,
it's
I got the order confirmation and everything.
Yeah.
And then so I reached back out that night because I was like, I don't want this to spiral out of control. So let me get on top of this. And the person I talked to was like, yeah, we can clearly see the seller sent you the wrong tickets. Go ahead and follow these steps. Send the tickets back. Like the seller will reclaim them. We'll get you squared away. Send them back. Got it squared away. I no longer owned those incorrect tickets. So I'm like, all right, now I just got to wait for my tickets or for our tickets. Didn't hear anything for 10 days. Called back January 29th. And they said, you're going to have to wait. Called back again February 7th. You're going to have to wait. Called again February 10th. You're going to have to wait. I then called back February 27th. You're going to have to wait. And then I called March 2nd. And I just lost it. I was like, folks, you have been telling me to wait for these tickets because they said we're probably going to be able to send you the tickets within 48 hours of the event because we have to prioritize our customer service based on the like immediacy of the event. And I was
because
like,
obviously
okay.
StubHub does concerts and other games and all that other stuff. So
like on paper, yeah, I get like in theory that makes sense, whatever.
But you're flying across the country.
When I called them back on the 19th of January, mind you, that's almost 2 months from the event. Cause I was like, I need to get out in front of this because what's going to happen is if this lingers, and I told them this, I said, you can tell me to wait and I'll wait, but don't tell me that you're going to guarantee me tickets because the closer we get, the price is going to go up and the availability is going to diminish. And sure enough, because they guarantee this whole time, they said, well, our ticket replacement guarantee will ensure that you have tickets. I said, we'll see about that. So then sure enough, I like hounded these people so bad the last call that I was like, I'm going to need to have this escalated. So they escalated it to some supervisor. And she goes, yeah, it doesn't look like we're going to have tickets that qualify for our replacement promise. So we're just going to have to offer you a full refund. And I said, so had I not brought this up and escalated this and hounded you guys to give me the tickets that I purchased, you would have told me this 48 hours outside of the event. And then I would have been left empty handed. And they said, yeah, we're really sorry about that inconvenience. And I said, okay, I'm taking my business elsewhere because you all don't deserve another cent. And so I got the full refund and everything. It was far more drawn out and dramatic and everything than all that. But just to keep it short and sweet, that's what happened. So never use StubHub ever.
Because it's obvious, like these places have like their tickets that they sell, but they're also a platform for private people to sell, like private sellers. So that's why you get upcharged with all these crazy fees, is because StubHub has to make their money. The seller has to get their money from the tickets. So it's insane. But the whole thing is just, it had to have been some type of like fraud. Like I think the guy that advertised it was fraud. It had to have been. But how is that not like a verification process that's just a part of StubHub? It's ridiculous.
Well, the really frustrating part is that they said, yeah, it's March 2nd, and unfortunately it doesn't look like there's any tickets that are comparable, because their whole guarantee thing is like if your original tickets fall through, that they will then replace those tickets with comparable tickets in a comparable location at no additional cost. So like if they find tickets that are comparable, they'll send them to you, no issue. And so they said, yeah, there's none that qualify for our guarantee.
Because we got decent seats. We were basically right behind first base dugout.
Yeah, and so I told him, so it's not a guarantee then. And then I said, well, I'm looking at your website right now, and there are tickets that are 2 sections down from where we were. However, they're now twice the cost. And they said, yeah, it's going to be too much on our end to cover that. So unfortunately, we won't be able to give you those tickets. I said, that's not my fault. I've been calling you for over a month to get this figured out because I knew this would happen. And I told them, I said, the prices are going to go up. And sure enough, what happened? And now they wouldn't cover it. So I just cut my losses and I moved on. All that to say, use SeatGeek and use our promo code 3OTake. That's our social handle to save $20 instantly off your first purchase as a first-time user.
Perfect. And we ended up getting better seats than what we originally purchased.
Just
elsewhere.
I'm done talking about it.
Not
all I have to say, never use StubHub ever.
Burn them to the ground, my friend.
SeatGeek. Speaking of fraud.
No, wait. So you were saying the tickets. I had a great segue. I know. I'm so sorry. We had to clarify this for the listeners though, because the initial purchase, we weren't sure if Ryan was going to be able to make it, so we did get 3 tickets. I know you guys heard us mention a couple episodes about possibly doing something with that 3rd ticket, but obviously with all of this stuff, we had to get the refund. The new purchase that we went with is only 2 tickets, so that's for me and Kyle, obviously. So we apologize for any
false hope.
Yeah. So,
but if you are there, area,
definitely hit us up. Yeah, because we're gonna be doing stuff all around, like Kyle was saying, all spring training. I think we're catching an ASU game, so we're doing a whole lot of stuff. So
I've taken the week off. Nate's taken the week off.
Yeah.
Like it's literally just gonna be baseball and pretty much nothing else. Baseball and food.
A lot of food. I've been dieting, preparing for it.
What sucks though is our branding photo shoot is
at the end
that Thursday, which wasn't great planning on my part. Yeah, so we're gonna be rolling into that. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I did want to clarify that just because.
No, that's all right.
Wanted to make sure there was no one banking on some free giveaway to come hang out with us. The dream is gone.
If people were making flight plans and hotel arrangements
without saying anything,
without any guarantee that they were going to get the tickets, that's on them. I'm sorry, that's on them. We would have loved to have made it happen, but unfortunately, not in the cards. Well, now I've lost my momentum for my segue, so let's just transition into the loopholes.
You said speaking of fraud, and I like
right because you said the guy that was advertising those tickets was fraud.
Yeah.
And then I was going to say, well, speaking of fraud, let's talk about these shift ban loopholes because this is just a mess. Although it's a mess that was extremely predictable. Like you just knew these things were happening. So over the weekend, the loopholes come into the national spotlight, if you will. Joey Gallo and the Twins, they're playing the Red Sox. Joey Gallo steps to the plate, and then all of a sudden you see the defense align almost identically to the pre-shift ban rules. However, they had to get a little creative, obviously, because now the infielders have to stay put. But now the loophole is that they're bringing in the center fielder, and I'm sure some teams will get more creative, like if they want to bring their left fielder in and keep their center fielder out. I don't know. But in this particular scenario, and I think they did it against, I can't remember who the Twins played that Sunday, because this happened, I think, Friday or Saturday, and then somebody did it against Gallo on Sunday. But the Red Sox bring in their center fielder and put him in deep behind second, like deep second.
That rover spot that we're used to seeing.
And so it just resurfaces the whole shift ban conversation. It's like, well, this isn't useful.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing a bunch of conversations surround this belief that this is still a risk for defenses. And I said, and I've gone back and forth. I've gone back and forth with people in the comments. I said, there's no added risk here because you've seen guys like Joey Gallo. They're going to it doesn't matter if you bring 9 guys over and put him on the right side of the field. Joey Gallo is going to do what Joey Gallo wants to do, and what Joey Gallo wants to do is pull the baseball. So he's going to try to find real estate on the right side of the field. And so pulling your center fielder in and playing with two outfielders doesn't mean anything. It doesn't add any level of danger to your defensive alignment. You're not running any risk of giving up extra bases because these guys just aren't capable of being flexible at all.
Yeah, and I think when you see like the left field spot just being open, in my mind, and I'm sure this is a conversation that's being had in clubhouses amongst like defensive positioning and coaching and things like that, it's like if there is a fly ball to any part of left field, all the coach is saying is that shortstop, just go. Full speed, go. It's yours. You're the only guy there. If there's anything down the left field line, it's yours. You got to get there. So, yes, there is that possible scenario where the ball gets down. But again, you said the hitters aren't going to do that anyway, especially Joey Gallo. The just with these rule changes, I think that they're the things that they didn't think about because they're not baseball guys. Rob Manfred is not a baseball guy. I'm sorry. He's not. He's a business guy. He's not a baseball guy. If you played baseball, you can think of these things. If you were listening to whatever guys you have in the front office for MLB from former baseball player category, they would probably tell you this. They probably did tell you this, and you chose to ignore it. Same loopholes with the pitch clock. You're seeing Max Scherzer just completely try to take advantage of the whole thing, force the hitter to use that one timeout, and then he quick pitches the next time. So it's like, these are things you didn't think about when you brought in these dumb rules. So be better with your rules or don't have them. But what are we doing? Like, this isn't, it's still not baseball. And now it's just faster. And it's pissed me off that like all these accounts are like 2 hours and 39 minutes. That's our average for every game this spring. Shut up. That doesn't help. What that does, all these baseball accounts are promoting the speed of it. That wasn't an issue. It's still not an issue. Leave it alone. But like, fix your rules. If you have to have these rules, fix them. Why would you not think of that? Why would you not think of that? If you're forcing infielders to be 2 on each side of second base, same logic can go for the outfielders. I mean, hello. 1 on each side. Center fielder does what he wants. I said it last time. If we're going to have these, and it sounds like it's absolutely going to be here, no matter what, any of these rules, they're here. There's nothing we can do about it. At least tweak them with baseball in mind. Just tweak them. Please. The pitch clock doesn't need to be a dead stop. You can't have quick pitching. You can't have someone just sitting there set and the guy has 1 foot in the box and he's just staring at him with his bat down, waiting to get set. And the second that front cleat hits the ground, the pitch is delivered. This is what you wanted? This is what you were shooting for? Because any baseball we've watched the whole time has been umpires saying no to quick pitching. But this is what you've created. This is a better product? Can't wait to see a bloop fly ball down the left field line from a lefty that turns into an inside the park home run because there's no one in that acre of land over there. Just, I don't understand, like, what is the goal here? What are you trying to accomplish? Who is watching this brand new to baseball and saying, I like this. I'm on board. Don't tell me it's split. Don't tell me it's half and half. It's not. Baseball people do not like this. Monday rants.
Monday rants with Nate. So, well, 2 things for me. One, I'm genuinely curious. There's no way you could really capture this information, but if you could, I would be genuinely curious as to how many people have tuned into baseball as a result of these rule changes.
Mm-hmm.
I can't, and I understand it's spring training, but I'm saying, pretend we're playing regular season baseball right now, and we're 2 weeks into the season. How many people do we, at this point in the season, do we really think are tuning into baseball for the first time as a result of these new rule changes? The second thing is, and we don't have to get back into, we don't have to go down the pitch clock rabbit hole. We talked about that for an hour last episode.
Yeah, sorry, I got a little hard on that, but we
understand.
It was good. I think we understand.
I had to get that out of our system. And the last thing I'll say on it is, and I thought about this weekend, is who, I don't think we really thought, like, sure, this idea was presented, but I don't think people really thought about this hard. Or as Michael Scott says, long and hard. How many people who were not baseball fans because they just didn't like the sport or they thought it took too long are now tuning in or becoming fans of the sport because the game is 20 minutes shorter?
Yeah.
Is 20 minutes really the make or break point?
No one, dude.
For people that don't have an attention span longer than 6 seconds?
It's not the issue. That isn't the issue. The issue is that you haven't marketed the game well enough to make it understandable. I literally just had this conversation with Paige's parents over the weekend. Her dad likes baseball. He likes all sports. He watches pretty much everything. He understands for the most part what's going on. But Paige and her mom are kind of on that same fence where, like, they like the quick stuff. They like basketball because it's simple to understand. It's back and forth. It's happening constantly, right? Football, they have no idea what's going on. Baseball, they have no idea what's going on. And so all I did, and you remember that post that you put out years ago before we even did the podcast about this science behind hitting a baseball, the time of the brain and the blinking of the eye and the distance and all that stuff. So that's what I was telling them. The whole, yes, you have 60 feet, but you cut off 7 or 8 feet from the delivery. The ball's invisible for the last 10 feet. So you have 40 feet to decide basically if you want to swing or not, what type of pitch it is. And it's less than the blink of an eye. And her mom's like, what? And I was like, yes, that's how hard this is. But no one talks about that, including the game. MLB does not talk about this. This is how you get new people to understand. Break down the intricacies of what makes baseball, and people will start to be okay with whatever time it takes to get through it. You can't rush through baseball. And any of this shift banning stuff, I'll go back to what I was saying last year. All sports have done this. Player placement is a part of the equation. This is one rule that you can be okay with. All sports. NFL can only have one guy on the line on each side of the ball. So if you're ever watching football, you see a receiver on the line, and then you see a couple receivers off or a tight end pulled off or vice versa. That's on purpose. 3-second rule in the paint for defenders in basketball. It's a part of the game. That is okay. It doesn't change too much. It just gets you back to what baseball was before we were jamming analytics down people's throats. Just make it normal. Just make it normal. And teach what baseball is. And for people that don't love certain broadcasters or certain former players in the broadcast booth, say what you will about John Smoltz, but at least he's teaching the game. At least he's breaking down why a pitcher thinks this way, why he's throwing that pitch, what a catcher is doing in between that, why he's selecting that, what the hitter did last time he was hitting, what the scenario is. Break that stuff down. That will get new people to understand what baseball is. Not making it faster. They still don't know what the hell's going on. You have to teach them. I thought I was done with my rant. I'm not.
A little bonus rant to your Monday rant.
Man, I'm done. That's it.
So, in regards to tweaking the shift, how do we fix this?
I mean, I think it's just you have to have one outfielder on each side of second base. I think if you can just draw a line, the way they're doing it for the infield, you draw a straight line right up the middle of the field, not literally, not paint a line on the field, but
don't give Manfred any ideas.
Yeah, no additional lines, please. But just umpires can recognize if, take over that gap if you want. But the left fielder has to be on that side. The same way the shortstop and third baseman do. Center fielder, do whatever you want. Right fielder, there has to be at least one guy in between first and second. So however you place them is up to you, whether they move in or out, So I don't see, I think there has to be a significant sacrifice. Maybe the center fielder has to stay in between the shortstop and second baseman. Maybe that's his middle ground. But I think if there is anything that you're going to do with that right fielder, if you choose to bring him into that rover spot, there has to be the possibility of the ball going over his head. There has to be some consequences. There's no consequences with this. Because it's the same.
But you're right. But going back to your point about Manfred not taking these possibilities into account, I don't know if allowing a rover, regardless what you do around that guy, I don't know if that fixes the problem. Because I think in Manfred's mind, he's going, okay, we're going to eliminate any of these weird defensive alignments if we just tell the infielders, you have to stay on this side of the second base and you guys have to stay on this side of the base. Not taking into account that the outfielders are still at play here, and the Red Sox took full advantage of that.
Yeah.
So it's almost, in order to avoid what we saw over the weekend and potentially down the road, if this doesn't get changed, something is going to have to come into play regarding the outfielders in a similar fashion that it was applied to the infielders. But I just think it's harder to enforce though, because you don't have
markers necessarily.
You don't have markers.
Well, maybe you put it on the outfield fence. You know what I mean? Just draw a line on the outfield fence. So in the left and right center gaps. Left fielder can't go over that line, can't go past that line, shifting too close to center field. Same thing for right fielder. That way that umpire can immediately turn around. He can spot the line on the fence. And then look at us. We just came up with a fix in 90 seconds. I know that idea was not on the board in the Manfred conference room. No shot.
I just hate the legislation and the enforcement around it. And it goes back to my point about the pitch clocks. It's like, I would be totally okay with the pitch clocks if it wasn't enforced or had an immediate impact on the game. Like, just put the pitch clock there so we can be conscious of it.
I agree. It doesn't have to be like a hard ball or strike.
Like, I'm all for it. Like I said last episode, I'm all for speeding the game up, whatever. I'm all for bigger bases. I'm all for more offense, I guess, whatever.
Yeah.
But I hate the legislation, as I was saying. And like we talked about last week, it's hard to replicate this throughout baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're, and not to say that this is what would happen, but if you've got grounds crew spray painting lines on the outfield wall and be like, all right, this is where we have, like, you're not doing that in high school. You're not doing that in Little League. Like, make it so that the game can be like replicated throughout the levels. I mean, we're already seeing Major League Baseball is light years away from the rest of baseball with pitch clocks, because not everybody, most organizations, fields, teams, schools don't have access to these technologies.
Right. So,
as I was saying, I just wish that it could just be understood. That it could just be like, hey guys, just stay in your position. Can we just stop with like the rovers and the trying to exploit every little loophole? Because I've already said I'm not pro shift ban.
Yeah.
But I'm also tired of seeing these shifts exploited.
What's funny is that like with this specific scenario of center fielder coming into rover spot, left fielder sliding to center field position, left field being open, you could argue that this shift is more difficult than last year. Because the shortstop and the third baseman are in their position still. Whereas last year, Joey Gallo could have just slapped something to the left side and it would have been a double easy. Now that there's the third base and shortstop are there, he has to get the ball in the air, and it has to be that left field spot. Impossible. Not going to happen. He had a better shot last year. So this is absolutely the same thing, if not worse. But I agree with you, man. It's just like, I understand seeking the advantage, but at a certain point, our game is just pretty simple. It's pretty simple. You got to hit it. You know? And that's... I wish we could just get back to that instead of just trying to find every possible way, you know? Just be better. Just be better than the other team. How about that? Hitters, be better than that pitcher on the mound. See what happens.
My whole thing with the shift is, my belief is that as professional hitters, as some of the best people at their craft, that they should be able to place the ball a little bit better than your average high school player, your average college player. Sure, you're not going to have precision placement every time, because that's just not how baseball works.
Yeah.
But people's response to that is saying, good luck trying to place the ball where you want with the pitch coming in at 100 miles an hour. And my response to that is, there's still room to make an adjustment, unlike Joey Gallo, who is actively seeking. And the majority of these guys that get shifted on, they are actively seeking to pull the baseball. They do not care. You could stack 18 guys out there, like we were just talking about, and they are not going to care. They're going to look for that sliver of grass in the outfield where they can drop a ball in somehow, which it almost never happens. Just look at Joey Gallo's batting average. That's the conversation starts and ends right there. The success rate of that mindset and approach isn't very great. It's not very good.
No. There's still a reluctancy to do that.
So, sure.
Which is not good.
It may be naive to say we'll just slap the ball down the left field line, because I've been in that camp. But the more you grow to learn the increasing difficulty of hitting major league pitchers as they get better, as they become even more dominant than they've ever been in the game's history. I understand that it's a little naive to say that, and I'll be the first to put my hand up.
I think it's just obviously that 98, that 99. That 100 now has 8-inch break. You know what I mean?
Right.
With sinkers and two seams and stuff. So,
but just be more willing.
You're right, because there's not even an attempt to do that for some guys. There's not even a try to do that. Then you see some guys that, kind of change their approach. I know obviously I'm a Yankees fan, and I'm probably going to use that as a default for examples more often than not. But I think most people can appreciate and enjoy the way Anthony Rizzo plays baseball, regardless of whatever team he plays on. That is a guy that will 100% choke up, shorten up, and I watched it multiple times last year, poke something over the shortstop to that gap. So you have those guys, and then you have the Joey Gallos of the world that just refuse to change, refuse to adjust. They're so set in their ways with everything. Everything. Those are the guys that like the superstition has gotten to their head where they have to do the same thing every day. And Joey Gallo is just a weird one, man. He's just a weird dude. Sucks.
Anything else on the shift bands, loopholes?
I don't have any other ideas of how to fix it. But like, I don't know, just have your section over there and stay in your section. If you're left field, stay in left field. Like it shouldn't be like the markers and stuff. We shouldn't have to get to that point. Just have the umpire turn around and be like, no, you can't play second base. Sorry, the lineup says you're a left fielder, so go over there. Pitch clock. It doesn't have to be a hard enforce. Just use it as a guideline. I guarantee if you have that number there, people will start paying attention to it.
Again, it's naive and simple-minded of me to think or to wish that teams would just be like, okay, we see what the league's trying to do here. We're just trying to get back to like keeping guys at their positions. Let's just do that. But no, immediately, a week into things, you see
it's a
teams
mess.
Just taking full advantage.
Yeah.
And the more that I see stuff like this, the more I have to choose my words very wisely here. The more that I can empathize with Astros fans in their argument of saying, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. I'm not condoning what the Astros did, but the more stuff that I see like this, where teams, there will be a rule placed in front of them, and a week later,
how do we beat it?
A week into game action, how do we beat it?
Well, it was the perfect example of when like instant replay became a thing. And you have now everything about instant replay is if the guy slightly came off the bag and if the tag's still there. And now it's become micromanaged. You've broken this game down to be so specific, and there's no room for error on the human element side of it. Nothing. It's so specific. And that's why it's like, yeah, I understand. Get with the times. That's everyone's argument that don't like baseball. They like other sports. Get with the times. Look what's happened. Micromanaged. Micromanagement. Is that what Jim says? Micromanagement.
Management on a micro level. What is that called, Jim? Micromanagement.
Yes.
Closing thought here. Speaking of like empathizing, dude, boomers have it rough, man. Like, I understand now why they're just so grumpy all the time. Because like you live your whole life a certain way,
and it was
and then
pretty
you
good.
just got people getting up. You got these like little TikTokers getting up in your face, like, get with the times, old man. It's like, yeah, there's certainly a percentage of boomers that are just stuck in their ways just because they want to be stubborn for stubborn's sake. But like, there's got to be a percentage of people where it's like, I'm not trying to be like a contrarian here. I'm just, this is how I view
I
this
enjoyed
thing.
it. I enjoyed it the way it was.
This way, but because I'm a little bit older now, like apparently my opinion is invalid and I should go jump in a hole and die. Like, what a sucky place to be, man.
I know. Oh well.
What a weird place. I didn't think I'd be getting on here defending boomers today, but I mean, can we just like lighten up and understand that people enjoy certain things in different ways? Like, I don't know.
No, wrong. Everyone has to agree. Suck it. You suck. Boomer. That's lit. No cap.
If it goes against what Jeff Passan says, or what I read on, or what I saw on TikTok, I don't want it. And that's on God, gang. Like, whatever, man. Just let me watch my baseball game. Clowns. Let's talk about Shohei Ohtani. For real. On God. Gang. So reported, not really groundbreaking news here, but it was reported that the Dodgers are the favorites to get Shohei in the offseason. They cut back on payroll. And even recently, we saw that they, personnel-wise, were trimmed back a little more even with the news surrounding Gavin Lux, who will be out this year with the
That was tough
ACL.
to watch.
That was
tough to watch. Yeah.
Not good.
Really sad.
Feel it for the guy.
Yeah.
But it and we'll touch on that a little bit. But it leaves the Dodgers in an interesting situation because the Dodgers were doing what they could to kind of cut the excess, to kind of trim back, to open themselves up for the Shohei sweepstakes. But like we talked about during the hot stove free agency point of the offseason, is the concern with the Dodgers was, did they, like, are you cutting back too much? Because they got rid of, they let Trey Turner walk. Trey Turner walks. They don't have a shortstop now. They say, okay, well, this is the year we ride with Gavin Lux. Well, we saw what happened with Gavin Lux. So now you're in sort of a predicament. And sure, you have Miguel Rojas who will be able to fill in. But I'm already seeing rumors swirling the Dodgers about they may be going after somebody else that they feel maybe is a better fit for that role long term. I don't know. And when I say long term, I mean for the duration of the season. But it's interesting. Like, are they willing to just punt on this season to
it kind of seems that way,
go
doesn't
all
it?
in on Shohei next year or in the offseason?
I mean, it kind of seems that way. And when I saw Lux go down, I immediately you think of your team, you think of what you have to provide and, moves of what you want to do for your team. And so, like, I thought, I've been wanting the Yankees to shop IKF. It seemed like, hey, this could be a perfect scenario where you need a middle infielder who can play and fill in that role with Miguel Rojas. It seemed like the right fit. And it's just $6 million. That's all he's owed this year. And even then, the reports were like, yeah, Dodgers can't handle that. And I'm like, what? Like, you can't even take on $6 million to fill in a gap. So, yeah. I mean, it's just, you see the Padres going after it. And honestly, you see a little bit of like advancement with the Diamondbacks, and we know that the Giants have been in conversations many times and have added to their roster as well. So it's like, it's a little odd to see the Dodgers not necessarily clean house, but really budget themselves. They are on like a ramen and tuna fish budget right now. And it doesn't make sense as to why they think they'd be able to perform the same way they've done in the past. This isn't a 100-win team. This isn't even a 95-win team. Not as of right now.
Are you willing to stand by that?
Yeah. I will say they will 100% be under 95 wins this year. How you feel about it? A little early hot take, huh?
I kind of like that.
A little early hot take.
Which, not a bad time to plug the, I saw some people had some questions about it. Not a bad time to plug the hot takes and predictions episode that we do each year. That'll be dropping the week of opening day. So that opening day is that Friday. No? Is it Thursday?
I thought they normally do it Thursday. Then they have that weird half day Friday where no one plays. Or half people are playing on Thursday, half people play Friday. In case of a snow out. I don't know. I'm over it.
Yeah, maybe consider adjusting your schedule if you have a potential for snow outs on opening day. Yeah, March 30th. Yeah, so it'll be dropping that week.
You didn't confirm. Is that a Thursday? You just said the date.
Oh yeah. No, sorry. In my head, I confirmed it. The 30th is a Thursday. Yes.
All right.
Yeah. We got.
So yeah, that'll be out
that
that Monday probably, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Let it eat for a week, and then.
Well, you got a little preview, so I'll probably forget in the next 3 weeks. So just remind me that I said that, and I'll double down.
Well, I think last year was the first year we started mapping out like full division standings, which I like doing. So we're gonna have to take that into account when we get to the West. So under 95 wins for the Dodger standards, you were all but saying that they're punting for Shohei in 2024.
And that's what's so annoying, and I think that's why the rest of baseball fans are just like, they can't stand the Dodgers, is because even with how they're playing, they're still going to be better than most teams. You still have Freddie Freeman. You still have Mookie Betts. Like, you're still going to be just fine. Will Smith is locking it down. Like, you have a solid rotation. Yes, you're missing pieces, but they're still going to compete. They're still going to be a really good ball club. That's how they feel. I think they're the definition of just anything can happen if you get in this year. I think that's the mentality for this year only. But when you're talking about a generational business opportunity, that's what Shohei is. It's a business opportunity for the Dodgers that will last a long time. So I understand why they're doing it. But yeah, I think there's going to be some holes in that lineup. There's going to be some holes in that roster in general.
Speaking of Shohei, I saw a video today where apparently they had an exhibition game for WBC for Team Japan. Just hit 2 nukes. And apparently I found out something about Nate when I told him that I don't think I knew before. But Nate gets really bothered by people commenting on hitters dropping to a knee.
So annoying, dude.
Which I thought was very peculiar.
Well, everyone thinks that it's like, oh, he did it one-legged, like the knee is on the ground. That's not what that is. It's, if you just pay attention to hitting mechanics, that's just him being out in front. It was a changeup down. Anything that you saw Adrian Beltre do that with, it was an off-speed pitch. So instead of, when you see hitters get out in front and they leak on their front side and they just do a little slap, instead of doing that, you teach hitters to go down. That pitch is going to go down. You're out in front. Just go down with it. You got on your front leg too soon, but in order to keep the hands back, you just go down with the back knee. It's not like Shohei's knee was on the dirt when he hit it. So it's like, it's a normal thing, but everyone wants to freak out and act like it's the greatest athletic feat they've ever seen.
And then I learned something else that, which this may have been like a one-off, so don't criticize me if you're listening and you're like, what are you talking about? You're an idiot. I'm just going off of what I saw, and I sent you the video. You saw the same thing. Serious question, do they not stand up and cheer for games in Japan? I'm assuming that game was in Japan.
Yeah.
Because when Shohei hit the ball, there was like a point of view video of the guy
the ball, it was like back, 2 rows back from where it landed.
From where one of his 2 home runs landed, and they stand up to catch the ball and immediately sit down. There's no cheering, there's no high fives, there's nothing. They all sit down. And then when you watch the clip, like the broadcast clip from that perspective, you can see people like behind the dugout, like those fans behind the dugouts. Mm-hmm. They're not standing up. So like, is that a cultural thing, or is that just like a weird exhibition thing? Like,
I have to assume it's a cultural thing. I have to. Like, they're just
really fascinating.
They're so respectful over there, you know? So it's like they maybe just don't want to block. That's what I said. It's just like maybe they don't block the view of the person behind them. Or maybe so the second they're done, like they want to sit down right away. But it's weird. The video you sent me, it's like, you should retweet it. I don't know if you did. The second the ball lands in that section, everyone sits down like in sequence almost. Like like simultaneously, they just all sit down the second the ball lands. It's kind of interesting.
I mean, maybe they view that as like a sign of disrespect to the opponent.
Has to be. Yeah, something like that. If anybody's been to a game in Japan, DM us and let us know. That would be a wild experience, by the way. 3-0 Take International, go on a little field trip out to Japan someday.
Dude, we got too many places domestically we got to get to before we even think about international.
I still got to see T-Mobile before I head over to Japan.
We've literally been to 2 parks together while doing this. 2
patience.
parks.
Just have some patience. We'll get there.
We got some things to get to. We mentioned Gavin Lux. Let's talk a couple big injuries. Gavin Lux, as I mentioned, out for the 2023 season with a torn ACL. The video was not good. Did not enjoy that at all.
Mm-mm.
You feel for him. You saw the emotions afterwards.
Yeah.
Just getting emotional, talking about missing out on the opportunity to play shortstop for the Dodgers. And you got to think, for a guy that's kind of paid his dues and waited for this opportunity,
for it.
He was pumped for this opportunity.
Yeah.
He probably saw the writing on the wall once Trey was gone, and they didn't make any immediate moves. And he said, okay, now's my time to go. And then this happens a week into game action in spring training. Like, it's just, you hate to see that.
Yeah. And then, this stuff's just going to get turned around on him in a year or two during arbitration hearings that he's not healthy. And it's just like, it's tough, man. Like, you hate to see guys like that just, they get their opportunity and like, I mean, he's been a highly touted prospect for a minute now, and it's just like, it's too bad.
If you had to put money on it, you think they're riding with Miggy, or you think they're looking elsewhere?
I don't know. I mean, like, you got to remember, like, for some reason, the Dodgers just always have depth. They always have prospects that can come up and figure it out. They manage to plug those holes pretty well. So it's probably an internal look, I would assume. Or you're going to have to, like, if it is an IKF scenario, you're going to ask the other team to eat a bit of that contract and get, maybe the Dodgers throw in an extra prospect for that in the deal. So maybe something like that. But it's like, how much does an IKF really put you over the edge, Might as well just look internally and see if you got a guy that has a bunch of spark. Catch lightning in a bottle,
I could see it.
I don't know. I don't know their farm enough. I'm sure there's Dodgers fans listening to this like, no, we're good. We got guys. So
I mean, I think Miggy is more than capable of.
Oh yeah,
holding it down. Like, it's not like they're hurting. It's just,
and
it
you
sucks
float
for the
in
Dodgers
Chris
that it
Taylor
got to
occasionally
this point.
too.
Yeah,
like, they'll be fine. But I mean, this is why you have a farm. This is why you have prospects. It's for these scenarios. It doesn't always have to be resolved in a trade.
Sorry, I was tweeting the video out.
Smart.
Serious, genuine question. Is it a normal practice for fans in Japan not to stand? Does that get to the point?
I think you did good.
Like, it's genuinely fast. Like, I'm not trying to like make light of it. I'm actually fascinated.
Yeah, I've never seen it before. Like, I've never seen that type of thing before. I'll give you a little retweet though.
Hey, thanks.
Yeah.
Another injury. Tyler Glasnow is going to be missing 6 to 8 weeks with an oblique injury.
It's too bad, man. It's too bad. And like, this is even coming from a Yankees fan who clearly like is okay not seeing Glasnow throw against him. But he's just so good. He's so different, you know. We miss him. I think baseball misses him. So hopefully the 6 to 8 weeks is it. I don't really buy these timetables anymore. Do you? Like, I don't know. I don't believe him in it anymore. We see this all the time. All the time. We've seen 6 to 8 weeks turn into 4 months. And you're like, how? What happened? So, I don't know. But he's still going to be a problem. You know, he's still going to ruin teams when he gets back. So, the Rays are going to be just fine. And the oblique stuff is more of just like, in my mind, I think that's just like a little bit of a compensation injury. You know what I mean? Like you're trying to compensate with other parts of your body instead of trusting your arm. So it makes sense as to why this would happen this early in spring training. So just like, I think if he can get healthy and then get back to really trusting his arm and letting that do its thing, he's going to be fine. But you're talking about that ramp up period as well. You got to be able to build him up to that 80 to 100 pitch range. So he's going to have a couple rehab starts, I'm sure. And then he'll be back by what? Late May?
That'd be ideal.
Plenty of time.
Some point in May.
Yeah. Still going to make 23, 24 starts.
I mean, apparently
Hopefully.
Kevin Cash had to field questions about whether or not he'd miss the start of the season. So I'm like,
Duh.
Yeah.
8 weeks? Yes. That's probably not going to line up for opening day. What reporter asked that?
I don't know.
Fired.
There was but his response to that is that you should book that right now regarding Glasnow missing opening day. So like,
yeah.
If you have a manager coming out and being like, yeah,
Yeah.
he's missing opening day.
Dumb question.
So regarding this injury, I think it brings up a bigger conversation about how we label players, pitchers as injury prone. Because I don't know if you know this. Tyler Glasnow has been in the league since 2016.
I know.
Hasn't made more than 14 starts in a single season.
What?
Isn't that crazy? I mean, like, I know he's adjusted roles in terms of starting versus not, but that's not good. And then you look at a guy that we do label in the baseball world as injury prone, Jacob deGrom. And I understand his injuries have been more so as of late, but Jacob deGrom has made 30 plus starts multiple times.
Right.
So it really...
Well, you are talking about New York media versus Tampa media.
Right. And the narratives that get pushed related to those markets and which players and which players fans like to latch on to and just ride that narrative, even though it may or may not be 100% accurate. I think this is a perfect example. It's like, I don't know if it's like a popularity thing, like if people are just drawn to a guy like Tyler Glasnow more, and because Jacob deGrom for so long was with the Mets, people didn't like the Mets, New York team, whatever. Like, why is Tyler Glasnow not receiving the same sort of criticism as Jacob deGrom? When in reality, like I said, Jacob deGrom has already made 30 plus starts multiple times. So like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Just presents a big.
I mean, at this point, yes.
debate.
I think like you have to go ahead and put him in the injury prone category. Since 2016.
Been in the league since 2016, hasn't made more than 14 starts in a season.
That's not a horse. You know what I mean? That's not an ace. Sorry. You may have ace stuff, but like that's the whole point. You got to be able to put it together. You may have Hall of Fame talent, but you got to last and stick around long enough. So same argument. He's got to be there.
Even with the decline in innings that we're seeing from starting pitching and from aces alike, like you still have to make the starts. Like even if you're not going 7, 8, 9 every night, You still got to at least be there to make the starts.
That's the ultimate coach's phrase. Every coach likes to repeat is that, the best ability is availability. So if you're not there, it's kind of an issue. And when you talk about the Rays and their payroll and the way they budget things out, quite a bit of money in their standards is going towards him. So he's got to be there. But this season will tell. I mean, like I said, if you're back at the end of May, you're still making the low 20s, maybe mid 20s in starts. Maybe 24, 25 starts at the max. So prove to me that you're not injury prone. Show up.
Tell you what, though, I'm glad our fantasy league draft is when it is, because this probably would have been a guy I would have gone after immediately, because for like the last year or two, I've been very, very high on Glasnow, and unfortunately it just hasn't panned out because he just hasn't been there. But
yeah, I
was thinking if this was going to be a year we could see good health from him, what's stopping him from being that ace and finally fulfilling that role? But I'm glad our draft is on the 14th now. It gives us a little bit of extra time to map these kinds of things out. Which, little plug for that, the league has been just about finalized, waiting on some confirmations from people, but the invites have been sent out to people's emails. Thank you to everyone who applied. If you weren't able to make it this year, we'll get you next year, hopefully. We'll see how that goes. But we're looking forward to a good fantasy year this year. I think we got some good dudes in there.
Big prizes being handed out, too.
Big prizes.
Big stuff. We're going big.
You want to remind the people what we're giving them?
Dude, so sick. So we did basically the top four. If you can finish in the top four, so just get into the playoffs and win one round, you're in the top four. There's 4 prizes to pick from. So first place gets first dibs, and then so on all the way down to 4th place. But we have, a customized, like a fully brand new customized glove. We've got like a merchandise bundle where you can get a jersey and like a jacket or a hoodie and a hat. We have postseason tickets. So if your team is doing their thing at that point, you want to go see them, we're going to hook you up with tickets. What was the last one? I don't remember.
Autographed memorabilia.
Hello. So
like if you're a fan of the Oakland Athletics, you're probably not going to, and you finish like
second,
first or second.
Yeah.
You're probably not
going to the postseason.
Not going to the postseason unless you're going to watch somebody else.
Yeah. So get something sick.
So get some autographed memorabilia.
And we do have a halfway point winner that we're going to have basically around the All-Star break. So whoever's leading the league and winning at that point will get, I think we decided just an All-Star jersey, right? They get to pick one of the players in the All-Star.
So. Hasn't been finalized, but I think that's a solid.
Sounds cool, right?
That's a solid pick.
Yeah. So we'll just get an All-Star jersey from, where is it this year?
Seattle, right?
Is it? That's right. It is. Yeah.
I have to imagine those unis are going to be pretty sick.
Yeah, I think so.
I would hope.
I think so too.
Don't mess that up.
So you get to pick your favorite player for an All-Star jersey.
Yeah, so thanks again to everybody that applied, sent in their interest forms. Really appreciate that. Much love to the people coming on board with us this year, and even more love to people that weren't able to get those invites. Like I said, we'll try to get you. Yeah. Try to get you guys next year. But
hey, look,
stick with us.
And I think this is something that, this was our goal with fantasy is to try and rotate and get more people involved each year. And last year that group went ahead and created a new league, or 2 years ago they created a new league and they're doing their own league. So now they're all together. So that's, we're trying to build a little bit of a community here. And so, even if you didn't get in this year, doesn't mean you won't get in later. And if you are in this year and you're not one of the winners and you're not picked next year, you could stay with this group, man. Go create a new fantasy league. And, that's all we're trying to do. So we appreciate everybody that submitted and listens and is a fan of us. And I mean, you guys make the world turn for us. So really do appreciate everything.
Closing the book here, and then we can get out of here. Not much, just worth mentioning that Mike Clevinger, that whole situation, it sounds like was kind of came to some sort of resolution. Major League Baseball came out and said that they had wrapped up the investigation into the domestic violence claims against him, and said that they will not be suspending him for any length of time. So take that how you will. We're not gonna. I intentionally left it in closing the book because jumping into stuff like this can get really dicey, and you never want to trip up and say the wrong thing. So
yeah,
I left it for the end. But in case you missed that, Clevinger has been, safe to assume, cleared for baseball activity. Like I'm assuming that's how it works.
Sounds like it
in this scenario. So,
yeah. Never really, I mean, we can never know all the details. It's not our place, but stuff's tough, man. And this is kind of a stink that doesn't go away, you know, if it is something that happened and, you know, it's kind of always attached to you, kind of lingers and stuff. So, you know, I just hope that everyone's all right and there's nothing to it, you know. And I bet the White Sox are hoping, you know, that everything's all clear and a guy they, you know, acquired to be a difference in their rotation is going to be healthy and do his thing. We've seen Clevinger do some stuff. That guy's got it. So, yeah. Hopefully this is all behind everybody and he gets the pitch. I did see a man bun in the White Sox hat. Did you see that?
I did not.
I don't know if I like the man bun. I mean, if you got the lettuce, might as well let it flow, but I don't know if I agree with the man bun. I wonder if Kopech was the one that talked him into that. He rocks that man bun too. I'm not about it. I don't know.
It's too long a hair for me, man. I can't pull that off.
I couldn't even grow it if I tried.
Couldn't dream of growing that. That's all I got, and that's on God, fam. Keep it 100, for real. And we'll chat with you all next week. We'll be in Arizona together. No cap.
Yeah, no cap. We're gonna have to do something. Where do you want to record? Are we gonna do it like cram into my office, or what? I didn't mention
to you, but I ordered another mic.
Okay.
Just like one that I can use for travel now, because basically the one that I had been using for travel, I ended up giving to my brother, so he has that now. And I just got tired of asking him, like, yo, can I take this on my road trip? Can I take it? Blah, blah, blah. So I ended up just buying another one.
Yeah.
So the plan is, I guess we can just like record in there, I guess. If we have a window of time, we can just record in there. Or we can go somewhere. We need somewhere with internet, but
we'll figure it out. It'll be good, though. I don't know what we're going to cover. I mean, I guess at that point, like
another week, but we'll just
at that point it'll be a couple USA games to cover.
Yeah, at least 2, possibly 3, depending on when we record.
Yeah, we need to. I know you sent me that itinerary of what you want to do, but I think we got to add like all of the must-visit restaurants as well.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's assumed.
Like, you have your list that you need to get to, so
yeah,
bounce it out.
Got to hit up Whataburger again. Give them a second chance.
I'm fully accepting whatever type of diabetic
outcome
of this week, but you got to do what you got to do. It's for the fam. No cap.
And that's on God, fam.
Man.
All right, we're gonna dip for real. We'll see you guys next week. Be on the lookout for a lot of we're gonna try to do our best to get some live content while we're out there.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna try to do some vlogging while we're out there, but we're gonna try to be coming to you guys live as well.
We'll have a new movie too. We'll have a new movie of the whole trip released on YouTube, like our wild card movie.
Oh yeah, we'll vlog it up. Yeah, if you guys are bored, waiting for some regular season baseball, just go hit up the YouTube channel and just check out that whole vlog from the wild card game back in 2021. That was a wild day. Wild 24 hours.
Yeah. That was insane. I don't know
how we pulled that off.
Still recovering from that trip. Appreciate you guys. Don't go chasing curveballs.
On God. We love y'all, and as always, looking forward to talking more baseball with you guys soon. Until next time, stay filthy.